Now that you have the temple built, you're going to create your landscape. To create your landscape, we're going to do kind of a shortcut here by creating a NURBS primitives plane and using the options box to create some settings here. We're going to make the width of our NURBS primitive plane, let's say around 50, and the length about 50, and the U patches to 20 and the V patches to 20. What this will do is give us 20 by 20, so 400 control vertices to use to adjust our landscape. And it'll be fairly large landscape at that. So let's create that thing. Now you can see it looks like a polygon plane if you've created one of those. The difference is, when I make it solid here, if I right click and go into control vertex mode, it's not called vertex with a NURB, it's a control vertex, and I can grab these control vertices and use the move tool to move them, and you can see already that the behavior is very different from what it would be with a polygon. These control vertices are allowing me to adjust it as a curve instead of as a solid object. And I'm just going to keep doing what I did here. Grab some of these things, rotate, move, rotate, and move, and just kind of randomly create what's going to end up being an island, a peninsula, or something. We're going to have this outdoor scene is going to have water and land on it, and we're going to have to make them meet at some sort of beach or something like that. So let me create that. Kind of want to have a little cove that I can fill with water in here. So I'm going to bring some of these up. But don't do it all at once. Creating these big stretched out things, I don't think it's going to look very good for this project. You're welcome to give it a try, but I kind of want something a little different. I'm going to push this one back down. I want to have this little cove area in my landscape. Okay, so pretty easily and simply I can create a fairly random, natural looking island scape. That's what I want. And the rest of this square is going to be buried underwater, so that's fine. That's it for the land. Now let's create some water. Create NURBS primitives. Actually, it doesn't matter whether it's a NURBS primitives or polygon primitives. I'll create a polygon one. It's not going to go up and down, so it doesn't matter. So plane, options box. This time I'm going to make it big, like 200 by 200, and I don't need any width or height divisions, so that part doesn't matter. And then the axis is going to be on the y-axis. I'm going to create that guy. You can probably kind of see already what I'm doing here, and you can see that I can raise my ocean or sea or whatever you want to call it up and down to drown out different parts of that until it finally is exposing the island. So I'm going to give them different colors right now just so I can tell them apart a little better. So I'm going to right click here, do assign new material, and since I'm not going to use the ocean shader in this project, you're welcome to try it out later, but I think the ocean shader for a still image is too regular looking. It doesn't have any variance. It's going to look very boring for this project. So let's create our own color here. For now we're just going to make it some sort of blue. It doesn't matter much. It's just a temporary color we're going to use. And then the island, we'll just make it some sort of brown. Lambert. And that neighborhood. There. Okay, that's fine. Now let's take that ocean and bring it up and figure out how much of our island we want exposed. That looks good. That's how much island I want exposed on this project. So I'm going to go back to this guy and this blend. I want him to be shiny. I want him to reflect because we're going to have a sun, so he shines across there. This blue here I want to make slightly transparent. I'm going to make it a little bit transparent so that when I'm looking at it up close like this, I can see through it kind of, but I really want to concentrate on that border and making that border show through properly. So after I've made my ocean a little bit transparent, I'm going to spacebar here, and we're going to go over the top view and hit 6 and zoom out a little bit. And I want to zoom out enough that I can see my ocean, the whole island square, but I don't need to see the whole ocean. Then I'm going to go display grid to turn off the grid, and I better deselect the ocean. Do that here, because I don't want that in there. All right, now I'm going to do a screenshot, and I'm going to use this image that I've just brought up on screen as a reference, and we're going to paint that in Photoshop. So Command Shift 4 on a Mac will let me take this screenshot here, and there. Now that screenshot's going to appear on my desktop, so let me open that up. Let me open Photoshop. Okay, click and drag, and when I did that screenshot I was careful to try to get as close to the edges as I can, because I need this picture to match what Maya thinks there is there, so that when I paint these borders it'll show up properly. Show you how to do that. We're going to use a brush tool, something like that. Picking my brush size, you can use the brackets on your keyboard to adjust the brush size. I'm going to go with something about that size for now. Let me get a color here. I'm going to teardrop and grab that color, but then I want to get a lighter version of that color, and I want to have kind of a beach feel to this. So with the opacity set to 100 and the flow set somewhere near 100, and making sure that the edges of my brush are soft, so hardness at 0%, I'm going to go and I'm going to paint that. And I'm covering up that border. I don't need it anymore. I could put this on a different layer if I wanted to, so I could keep that reference image, but for now I don't think I want it. So I'm just going to go and paint some edges on there. It'll look kind of soft. And then let's put, I don't know, image. Let's go just change this color to green. Have some darker greens. I'm going to take the opacity down a touch. I'm just going to throw some green in here, a few places, and then some darker green. I'm just kind of randomly putting this here. I'm sure yours will look better. Probably a good time to show you about setting your project in Maya. So with Maya open here, let's cancel that for a second. With Maya open, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit File, Project Window, and I'm going to click on New right here, and we're going to give this project a new name here. We're going to call this one Outdoor Scene, and then hit Accept. So now I have this project called Outdoor Scene, and then I have to set my project to that. So I'm going to hit Set Project, and then click on Outdoor Scene and click Set. And then the thing for me to do here in Photoshop, and when I go to save this thing, File, Save As, is to put my image in the proper place in the new project folder. So to do that, I'm going to go to Documents and Maya, and you'll see inside Maya there's a folder called Projects. Inside Project there's the one called Outdoor Scene, and it already has all this stuff in here, so I'm going to use the Source Images folder. Just going to click on that once, and we're going to give this name of ISLAND texture. So, extension. Let's save that texture. Back to Maya. And now I go apply that image here. So I'm going to click on my island. I have my island selected. I'm going to go to the material for that island. And where it says color, I'm going to click on this little checker box here off to the side. And then File. Notice it turned white because there's no file associated. And I'm going to click on this little, alright, island texture.png. It finds it and applies it. And notice that because I used the reference image in Photoshop, my texture matches up. So when let's go make that ocean non-transparent anymore. Hold on a second. There we go. Now you can see that where I wanted the beach, I get the beach. So that's going to go all the way around the edges. Something you can do in Photoshop. Let's do, I gotta remember here, filter, that's it, noise. And we're going to add noise. And we're probably going to add it, let's say we do it up to 3. And that's just going to add some speckly noise to our project here. Documents, projects, outdoor scene, source images. Replace it. Now I can reload. Now I get that little noise effect in there as well. We're going to do something similar with our ocean. So I'm going to select my ocean, go to that top view again and hit F. And deselect it at Command-Shift-4. And then create material to work with here. There. Now we have that screenshot. We'll go back into Photoshop. And grab that screenshot and bring it into Photoshop. So, File. There we go. Now what we're going to do is paint our ocean texture. To do that, let's give it a good color. I like to start with something pretty dark blue, keeping a little gray and black in it. So I'm going to kind of be in this neighborhood right here. And I'm going to use the bucket filler. Paint bucket tool's fine. We're just going to fill that with something dark. Next, I'm going to use a big brush and take the color to something lighter. An ocean is kind of going to get lighter as the waves start to break when it gets closer to shore. So I'm going to use the brush. Let's take that down a touch and let's paint the island around that shoreline right here. There. And now we get a different brush over here. I'm going to add some greens, some nice dark greens in here. Opacity not quite all the way up here. Flow probably not there either. And we're going to make it a big brush. And I'm just going to take some sweeps along my ocean to kind of break it up a little bit. Sometimes it doesn't look quite dark enough until I get it there. Let's get some more dark in there. Also, something I like to do, just to give a little color, a little unexpected color to it, is take the opacity down and the flow way down and grab some wild color. I mean, you could take even a hot pink and just make some streaks across it, and it's going to add some interest and some color to your thing. So hot pink, colors you wouldn't think are going to work. Let's take yellow and do some streaks. That's a little too much flow. Let me go back down to about 7. So, right. Streak there, here. Bring that pink across there. So that's what I'm talking about. It's kind of messy and muddy looking, but it'll look all right when we get it on there. We have that base color of blue, and then we've just added some interest. File, save as. We're going to put that in that same folder. Let's see. Documents, Maya, projects, outdoor scene, source images. we're going to save this one as sea texture .png. I don't know why it's not doing that automatically, but PNG, click save. There. Now I'm going to go put that material on my island here. So I'm going to click, or my ocean. Right click. You can right click here and go to material attributes. Then where it says color, click on that checker box. File again, that. And now I'm going to go to click on sea texture and open that up. And you can see now that it's applied the sea texture to thing. The reason it has a highlighting is because it's a blend texture, but when we get up close it should look just about right here. Alright, object mode, there we go. So now we have some real interaction between our ocean and our island so that it doesn't just break color right away.